Steve, it's Rob Dawson at Sky Sports.
Again,
nice to see you again after last night. Listen, your wife's a Derby girl. This is your third spell at the club. You've got a real affinity with this football club, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. It's one, since coming here as a player, the old baseball ground. It's got fantastic, this club, history and tradition. And then coming back assistant with Jim Smith, moving into Pride Park, brilliant new facilities. And they developed from that, the facilities with a new training ground. And so I've always followed Derby County, all my ex-clubs, but Derby County, because I played, I was assistant. It was one of them that you always think at the back of your head, I'd love to manage that club one day. The opportunity came very quickly. Phone call on Saturday night, I had really no hesitation. It was a wrench actually leaving Queen's Park Rangers. I'd had 3 great months there. Harry was fantastic to me, the staff and the players. It's been a great experience. And to come here, I'm thrilled, excited, and I think it's a big challenge ahead. But what I see is a club that in the last 3 or 4 years has developed its academy, has developed its young players, has got a good team together, and Sam and Derby and the board want to move in a different direction and to go to that next step. And that's why we're here. We're here for 2.5 years, and we want to make developments and, again, fill this stadium, get the fans excited, because they're the most important people of this football club. And we all remember the days in the Premier League, Pride Park, full houses, Manchester United, Arsenal's, Liverpool's coming. That's the dream, and you have to start somewhere, and I'm excited that we have an opportunity to do that with good people, a good board, good staff and good players.
Things didn't pan out for you at Nottingham Forest. There was only 13 games there. Didn't quite at Wolfsburg and your second spell at FC Twente either. That's a blot on an otherwise immaculate CV, what you've achieved in the past. Do you feel about a little bit of this job now is you rebuilding that reputation, reminding people of just what a good coach you are?
Absolutely. I've had my experiences obviously after England and moving abroad. Have been fantastic experiences, and some good and some bad. Moving to Nottingham, I made mistakes. I didn't know the situation going in. I got surprised by that. Tried to change things too quickly and too ambitious, wanting too much too soon. And I think that was a mistake on my behalf. You learn from your mistakes. And in the meantime, I've got a great opportunity to come back here to Derby County and to start something we hope will be big.
There's a lot of talk amongst some of the supporters that they feel Nigel Clough wasn't given enough time, that in difficult circumstances when the budget was quite tight at times, he did his job, brought a lot of the young players through. There's even talk about potentially a minute's applause from some of the fans tonight during the game in tribute to Nigel. Does that make it difficult for you? Is it difficult to follow on from that? Is it going to take you time to win the fans over, do you think, Steve?
This is football, and football now is, you can change directions in clubs. I was at FC Twente last season. We were top of the league at Christmas. We were 3rd in February, and I got asked to leave. So football changes. You think you're doing a great job, and they want to go in a different direction. We all have to accept that and accept what the club wants. I think on what is here at the present moment, you look at the team, look at the young players coming through. Nigel has been significant in that over the last 4 or 5 years in establishing the academy, bringing that through along with Darren Wassell and creating a good team. And it's not my decision but the club's decision. All I can do is look at the good work that's gone on in the past, hope to develop and improve on that.
Steve, Owen Bradley, BBC Radio Derby. Just want to ask you about the 2 men sat on either wing. How important are Eric Steele and Paul Simpson, and the fact that they know the club as well? I
think it's so important that they know the club. When I first came here and I was here with Jim Smith, the old baseball ground, I remember that game against Crystal Palace, winning 2-1, and Simo got one of the goals, and it was a fantastic day, and I still got that memory, and it's important that I get good people around me. It's important that they are Derby people. They know the town, they know the people, they know the fans, they know what Derby County wants, know what it can achieve and what can be possible. And I think that is so important, to know the people, know the town. And I've got 2 people, in Paul Simpson and Eric Steele, who know that and will be of great help.
You mentioned how you've always followed Derby since moving on. Did you ever think you'd be back for a 3rd time in charge?
You always think on the back of your mind, don't you? And over the past recent years there have been opportunities to look at that. So I've always followed. I've always looked at the team, and obviously being involved with Queen's Park Rangers in the Championship, you know, just having to keep a little eye on them as well and developing into a good team that plays a good style of football. That needs to continue.
You mentioned the style of football and you're a fan of it. Do you expect it to continue in the same way that Derby fans have been used to
I
it last few
expect it.
years?
I hope so. I hope the players embrace that, because that's what they do, and they do it well. And I think, you know, from my experience also with Queen's Park Rangers and looking at the Championship, you have to play football in this league. You have to play football. You have to pass the ball. You have to keep possession. You have to play with a certain style and energy. And this team has got that. It needs other things, otherwise it would be up there challenging. And that's why we're here, to hopefully bring that.
Sam, can I ask you a question about your decision? It's a big call from you, isn't it, to get rid of Nigel Clough, who'd been here for nearly 5 years, and replace him with Steve. Why did you want to do it?
Of course, it's a big decision, and nothing's taken easily. But we've had 5 years, and largely we've finished in the lower and the middle part of the league. And I think it's important that we look to move forward. We want to move forward in a new direction. And I feel hugely excited about the opportunity to work with Steve and his coaching team. And I think that, I think back and I think where Derby County has been as a club, and I think the facilities and the fan base and the opportunity we've got here is incredible. And it was very important for me and the board to take the opportunity to move forward and take the opportunity to take this club to where we want it to be.
New structure for you as well, and you're looking for a technical director to work with Steve.
Yeah, I think again.
How quickly might that happen, Sam?
I think it's important to put some meat on those bones. I think in terms of Steve will be running. You know, he is the head coach. He will be running the football side of the club. I think we want to look at the scouting network. We want to look at recruitment. You know, I look at 3 things in which a club like Derby can be successful. If I look at the clubs that have overtaken Derby in the last few years, and that's what's driving this decision, the fact that we have been overtaken, and I see it through coaching, I see it through recruitment, and I see it with football relationships, and that's what we're looking to develop in the whole setup.